Que o destino faça a primeira jogada. Eu sempre me animo ao encontrar oponentes à minha altura.
In gameplay situations, with the hero Yi Xing, very often we encounter the issues of not being able to land CC or damage on the enemy, as well as poor survivability. Let's take a closer look at these today. Difficulty in landing crowd control. If Yi Xing is having difficulty exerting crowd control on the enemy, pay closer attention to how skill 2 and the ultimate are unleashed. The two skills should be used one after another. Can't seem to land enough damage. Can't seem to deal high enough damage? That's because Yi Xing is relying too much on skill damage and not using his enhanced basic attacks enough. Skills should also be aimed at the same area to produce sustained area damage. A hero that keeps croaking. If Yi Xing just keeps dying, it's because his passive hasn't been put to good use. A better understanding of the hero's counters and using his passive at the right time will improve his chances of survival.
Saudações! Me chamo Yi Xing. A luz das estrelas ilumina este mundo.
Yi Xing primarily deals damage by using his skills 2 and 1 back-to-back to enhance his basic attacks. This triggers his passive, which then deals area damage to the enemy. His ultimate is mostly used to initiate a fight, then mire the enemy along with skill 2. The immunity from his passive gives him more time on the field.
O tabuleiro também representa a dualidade do mundo.
Minimizing skill CDs. Each time Yi Xing lands a hit on the enemy with his skill 1, the CD of his skill 2 is shortened. So, when his skill 2 is in cooldown, use skill 1 as much as possible to bring skill 2 out of cooldown as soon as possible. Using the ultimate skill. Most heroes are unable to escape the area targeted by Yi Xing's ultimate skill. When using this skill, Yi Xing can also limit the enemy's maneuvering room by making use of the walls on the field. Stringing skill combos. Yi Xing can use his ultimate directly while the enemy is under control from his skill 2 to more reliably box in the enemy. He can also use his ultimate first, then his skill 2, to keep the enemy where he wants them to be before the pieces of his ultimate set piece have finally come into place.
Passamos a vida inteira procurando lugar ao qual pertencemos.
Early game. Yi Xing's skill 2 is fantastic for lane clearing. So, in early game, he can choose to either support the side lanes or engage in jungling. Doing so can help his team build up an advantage and also allow him to quickly stack his passive damage buffs at the same time. Mid-game. Mid-game is a time when team fights break out very frequently. What Yi Xing needs at this time is exquisite control over when and where his ultimate is unleashed. He can ambush the enemy from the brush, or work together with his teammates to establish total crowd control over the enemy after using his ultimate at the opportune time. Late game. As we go into the late game, when the enemy is advancing, Yi Xing can use his ultimate to trap the enemy under the tower, then counterattack along with his teammates. When the team is on the offense, he can also use his ultimate to cover the enemy tower, then work together with his teammates to quickly sew up the match.
As peças pretas representam as noites imprevisíveis. As brancas, as estrelas eternas.
The skill combo increases damage output primarily by stacking Ghost Stones using Yi Xing's skill 1. Then, when the enemy comes within range, Yi Xing can use his skill 2 to exert crowd control on the enemy. Then, skill 1 to refresh and enhance his basic attack. Finally, he can follow with 1A to deal more damage.
Como é ter lugar para chamar de lar?
This combo is great for keeping the enemy where you want them to be. Yi Xing should use skill 2 right after his ultimate to exert stable crowd control on the enemy, then follow up with the 1A combo to maximize damage dealt alongside the rest of the team. Opening with the ultimate can block the enemy's movements, following which skill 2 immobilizes the enemy, rendering them ripe for the picking.
Algumas escolhas não têm a ver com ganhar ou perder.
If the enemy is some distance away, Yi Xing can use Flash to close the gap, then use his skill 2 and ultimate to crowd control the enemy repeatedly. The right lineup makes it easier for Yi Xing to win. Burst heroes like Lu Bu and Marco Polo, who are capable of covering a significant area, are great partners as they can deal high amounts of damage by leveraging on the CC capabilities of Yi Xing's ultimate. On the other hand, having crowd control heroes like Lian Po and Guigutsu on the team can help Yi Xing ensure a steady stream of control over the enemy. Against heroes with strong dash capabilities, like Jing or Luna, Yi Xing will find it difficult to evade the enemy's pursuit due to his lack of movement skills.
High ground tower is under attack.
And if the enemy is a hero whose ultimate has significant crowd control capabilities and range, such as Changfei, Yi Xing can find himself face to face with the enemy and wither from their attacks very quickly.